Greetings, friends and fellow aliens. My name is David. Welcome to my channel. I talk about INFJ stuff and writing stuff. I am an author. I'm a dude who's on the internet, who's dumb enough to turn on a camera and throw it out there for whoever to see. Welcome. Today I wanted to talk about empathy as an INFJ. And basically, can you turn it off? Like a switch. Can you switch off your empathy? The reason this comes up is because I ran into a situation recently where I was perfectly justified in being, for lack of a better term, a dick. So I had every right to, but I didn't want to. And so I was well, I could and probably should in this circumstance be a dick, but I didn't want to be a dick. So then I got irritated with myself for being in this halfway place, right? Where I'm kind of stuck between this state of being a dick and the state of not being a dick, which is just totally non-committal, which kind of goes with the whole thing of conflict anyway. And so it was just this weird, like half place. I was both a dick and not a dick at the same time. Like Schrodinger's dick. I was Schrodinger's dick. After I said that didn't really come out all that great, did it? I could probably find a better metaphor. All right, so let's do this. Quick note before I begin. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so in numerous ways. First, like, subscribe, hit the bell. That's really nice. I like to have you stick around. We can build this community. There's a bunch of really, really great people around here, and I appreciate all of you. Second, if you would be so kind, buy the book. This is my book. I wrote it. It's 350-ish pages. It is on Amazon. It is called The Caretaker. It is a supernatural story, which is in a really cool world, which has a really cool INFJ main character named William St. Denis, who I am certain that you will resonate with on some level. It's a cool romp and a fun adventure. It's got themes of death and love and all that good stuff. So please, pretty please, pick it up, give it a read, and throw a review on Amazon if you have. I'm really close to 100 reviews. It's very exciting. I need your help to get there. Please help me. If you don't read and you don't want to subscribe, what's wrong with you? Another way you can support me, buy me a cup of coffee. Right there in the description is a link to my Venmo and to PayPal. If you just want to throw a couple bucks my way so I can have some caffeine, so I can create awesome videos like this, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. A few of you have, and I must say, I appreciate you so much for supporting me in the way that you did. Thank you. Thank you. Lastly, if you don't want to do any of that stuff, just watch the ads. There's not a lot. Don't skip them, right? Unless it's one of those ones that's like 10 minutes long and has some guy talking about his, you can skip that one, right? But if it's a short ad, please, pretty please, just watch it. It throws a couple pennies in my account and it lets me take some time and have the equipment to do all this kind of stuff and create cool content. So thank you. Now, onward with the topic at hand. The first thing we kind of need to do is define empathy, right? And to break it down, I'm not going to do the whole dictionary definition of it, but basically it's the ability to put yourself in someone else's place and to feel the pain or the hurt or the joy or whatever they are feeling. It rubs off on you. Having empathy is different than being an empath. Typically when you say that you're an empath or somebody refers to somebody as an empath, it generally just means that these feelings are more intense for them. And you really do absorb these things like a sponge. And it can absolutely wreck your mood. I would probably consider myself to be on the heavier side of an empathic person. Overloaded with empathy is sometimes how I describe it, because I will be talking to somebody who's very close to me. They will be having a bad day, and I will have a bad day. Often a day even longer than the state that they're in. And that's how I can kind of tell that my extroverted feeling is sort of going nuts and I'm just on empathy overload. An empath will typically recognize emotions from somebody earlier, a lot of times even sooner than that person themselves realizes what's going on. so to speak. So you're really in tune as an empath. Most people just have a lot of empathy, and that's kind of the way it works. And they're able to set the boundaries and separate the fact that this is something somebody else is going through, this is something that I'm going through, and those are two different things, instead of just soaking it all up like a big squishy sponge, which it happens, people. It happens. That definition out of the way, how does this apply to you as an INFJ? And can you switch it off? Well, remember your cognitive functions, right? The I, yes, you're introverted. The N, yes, you're intuitive. And that is how you gather information about the world around you. It's that subconscious process that hoovers up all this information, throws it in there. Puzzle pieces are just being mashed around. Sometimes they fit together. The picture becomes clear. Boom, the aha moment happens, and you understand what your intuition is trying to tell you if you're listening. Sometimes we're bad at listening. It happens. Then when you have to make a decision about something, FE, extroverted feeling, is that function that you're running it through to make your decisions. And that is the emotions and harmony of other people. So it's empathy, right? It's directly related to it. When I need to make a decision about something that will affect other people, I often have that tendency to put all of my own needs and wants aside and make the decision based off of how it will make somebody else feel. I'm not proud of it. It's not great. I'm working on the whole boundary thing. It's just a slow process. It's a little difficult, okay? Just don't at me. I'm trying over here. I really am. Think of yourself as a human being in a pool, right? And so there's water, and you're floating in the pool, and you can't swim, okay? Because that pool water is your FE. You're swimming in it, right? You're swimming in extroverted feeling, empathy is happening, and all kinds of stuff is just splashing you in the face, and you're just trying to figure it all out and to stay above water and survive as your own person. Underneath extroverted feeling for you is introverted thinking, your TI. That's your logical thought process. It's logic, right? Logic and feelings, they're like, I was going to say Bonnie and Clyde, but they're not really Bonnie and Clyde. Logic and feelings is more like, I don't know, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Two things that are kind of intrinsically linked, but sometimes don't always get along, right? So you're floating in this pool of emotion and empathy, and outside the pool, on the grass, in the safe place, is your TI, your logical thought process. In this analogy, let's pretend your TI is like a big old baboon, right? And it has a stick, and it can hand you the stick and save you from your extroverted feelings splashing around and drowning, right? But also, it's a baboon, and it may not really understand the instructions. So you could be like, hand me the stick, and it may throw a rock at you. Or you could be like, please hand me the stick. I'm drowning in my own emotions, and I need to survive. Mr. Baboon, please help me. And he'll just fling poo at you. Which honestly, I've felt like my logic has done that to me on numerous occasions. It's perfectly fine. Really great. Thank you for the poo, TI. Thank you. Eventually, perhaps you communicate, the two work together, the baboon hands you a stick, and you're able to climb out, use the logic, and get away from those emotions. But that doesn't mean that the empathy is not happening in you. It is, right? And as an INFJ, that FE is really high, and it's just something that is going to affect you no matter what. Can we switch it off? How do we switch it off? How do we take a specific circumstance where you kind of need to be the dick and let you do it, right? So like if you don't know, like the whole Schrodinger's cat thing where there's like a cat in the box and like there's a poison in the box and it has a 50% chance of killing the cat or not killing the cat. They say that if the box is closed and the cat's in there, it exists in both states at the same time until the box is opened, right? Which is the whole reason I kind of alluded to being Schrodinger's dick. No, it still doesn't sound right. I really, it's great. I've had some caffeine, so here we go. To turn this off, it really comes down to boundaries, right? Being able to set boundaries and set those rules for yourself. But how do you do that? How do you do that when you're just ultimately really concerned about the emotions and feelings of other people? Well, use that empathy for you. Have a look in a mirror, and that person staring back, just kind of disassociate and separate that person. And say, okay, this is this person's life. I mean, yeah, it's you, but look at it from an outsider's point of view. That's your life. This is a decision that maybe you have to make or something that you have to do. And use that empathy, right? I feel for you in this situation right now. Yes, you're talking to yourself. Just bear with me. I feel so strongly. And if I were to give advice to myself, this is the advice that I would give. And I would say, you know what? It's really hard, but I know you can do it. And this is going to be very difficult. So people may be upset with you for the things that you want to do and you want to accomplish and where you want to go in your life. But it's important because it is ultimately what is best for you. It's that stepping back and looking at who you are and where you are and using that empathy to feel for yourself and to basically just have some self-love about it. You're not a piece of trash. You're not a piece of dirt. And you're not just here to exist for other people. It doesn't work that way. So set the boundary and say, okay, look, I got to take care of myself and I have to have my own back. And this is what I have to do. And so there's the decision. And there's the thing that I have to do. And there's a decision that I have to make. In terms of switching it off, I believe that you can. But I believe it's kind of an all or nothing thing. There is definitely a case to be made for somebody being against their nature as an INFJ. And perhaps it comes with addiction, or perhaps it comes with coping mechanisms that are unhealthy, be it alcohol or sex or drugs or what have you. And in those cases, perhaps you're drowning in that pool and that baboon is just off doing something somewhere else with like another baboon, right? And you need the stick. Logic is not saving you. So you do whatever you can do to just kind of feel numb. But if you're going to do that, you can't pick and choose. Going numb as an INFJ is going into a dark place because you're turning it all off. It's a switch. It's not a dimmer. It's on or off. Going deliberately against your nature is a bad idea. And the reason for that is because think of it as some kind of a tub or something like that, or just use the pool as an example. All right. The longer you're in that pool, the higher that water is going. And you're just like, you know what? I don't care. Numb to it. I'm just not going to care. Well, at some point, that pool's going to overflow. It's going to break and all that water is going to rush out. And you know what that water is filled with? It's filled with guilt. It's filled with regret. And all of those feelings are going to come back to you the moment you start to get healthy again and see things from the perspective that is in your nature, the way the cogs work in your brain. You are going to INFJ in the worst way possible when you break out of that pattern of needing to be numb. So all of those decisions, all of those feelings, all of those I don't care, and all of those things where you're pushing people away, treating them poorly, and being the dick when you come out of that Schrodinger's dick box. No, it still doesn't work. Anyway, all of that regret is going to come back to you. And it is going to be a really, really rough ride. This is my take on it. Okay? I do believe that as an INFJ, you can, through coping mechanisms that are probably really unhealthy, and through an attitude that is really unhealthy, switch off that empathy. You can not care. You can go full on nihilism and be like, nothing matters. I don't care. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to be a jerk when I want to be a jerk. I'm going to hurt people when I want to hurt people because I don't care. You're telling yourself a lie and you're living a lie. It is completely against the way your brain will work. Can you do it? Sure. Is it wise? Absolutely not. At some point, when you get a little healthy or when you run into the right person who's able to bring some sense back into you, those feelings, that guilt and that regret are going to come back in a very, very strong way. That pool is going to explode. Those feelings and that water is going to go everywhere, and you're going to have a lot of cleaning up to do in your life. I am curious as to what your take is on all of this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And you're perfectly welcome to do either one. Are you Schrodinger's dick as well? Just like I apparently thought I might be. I didn't know the man personally, so I kind of feel bad about saying all this, but it's fine. Let me know in the comments, right? State your case down there and see where you fall on all of this and really think about it, right? And have you ever been in that state? I'd love for you to share a story. Been in that state where you were turning everything off. you know? And I don't want to get into door slam stuff. That's a little bit different. That is establishing boundaries, setting boundaries, and closing off a toxic person. That is different than turning off your empathy, right? Which is more of a global construct as far as the way you work than it is a singular situation. So I'm not talking about with one person. I'm talking about turning it off, like all the way off. Let me know. I'd love to talk to you down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you on the next one very, very soon.